Hey, good morning, everybody. 45 minutes after the hour. You guys had a good setup yesterday. It was not too bad of a, uh, was it Wednesday? Wednesday lineup. Yeah. Today is Thursday. I'll get it right. One day off, and then it just throws you off for the entire week. Hello, everyone. Facebookers, you're always here, of course. First, Amy's always here early. Hello to Michelle and Ashley, ready to go as well. Anytime I know I got Storm Talk in the title. I know Ashley will be here as well as Adam. Okay. A lot to cover, obviously, today. It's a very messy pattern. More that it's a mix of a spring and summer elements back and forth, as you would expect in the month of May. There's a lot of battling going on between the two seasons that want to finally fight for control and get things, but we're not quite there yet. So we'll still have some cool nights to contend with over the next couple of weeks. We're going to have warmer surges than we've had all season long. And at times that could mean strong storms and severe weather. But there is still a pretty good signal from what I've been able to look at here is that the main jet is really not going to be over our area many times here the next few weeks. So we're really going to get more of either just pulse severe thunderstorms where thunderstorms just kind of develop on their own and produce their own downburst wind scenario. Or you're going to get what we call MCSs, where you're going to get into a northwest flow at times, which I think may develop a little later in the month of May, and you can get your severe weather that way. But as far as organized severe with the big warm fronts and cold fronts that we've been accustomed to this spring season, not exactly lined up in that type of a pattern. So that's the one sign that summer's about here when you start seeing that look to the weather maps. But I think May is going to be one of those that's going to take a little longer this year to kind of get settled compared to our previous years. Okay, not as cool as it was back in 2020. 2020, I think we had a frost. It was a year, 5 years ago tonight. We had 30s in the area, 34 down in Louisville, in fact. So we can get cold this late in the season. It's just that it's very unusual. Last year, we didn't have any 40s at all for the entire month of May. And this year, we've already had a couple. All right, so enough of me rambling. Hello to everyone. Hello to Lauren. Got softball game tonight in Oldham County. We're at our odds. Honestly, this is going to be very hit or miss. And it's really, I know your issue is going to be lightning more than anything versus severe weather. Is whether you have lightning near the field or not. I'll try to show you some trends with some of our future casters in a second. That may help you out here in just a few more minutes, Lauren. So hang tight. Hello to Blue. How you doing, Blue? We've been outdone by Facebook. Oh, no, the Facebookers are outdoing the YouTubers now. Now, when the Twitch folks outrun everyone, that's what I'm waiting on. That'll happen one day. I don't know if we have anyone on from Twitch, do we? Some may be lurking, but they haven't commented yet. Okay, so let's get right to it. We'll start with the current view outside, which is actually kind of a spooky one at that, where we got these sun breaks mixed in with some of the clouds in the area, and as that darker cloud appearance, like a thunderstorm is about to hit. I mean, when in reality, it's just a shower, but you get what I'm referring to there. Those sun breaks can do a lot to the sky, making it look eerie. But a very pretty shot there at Huber's Orchard and Winery. All right, 62 outside at the moment, nice and mild. We like that. And anytime we see the numbers fairly even, that tells us that we have a lot of cloud cover at play here. And that does a number, too, on keeping us warm. But that's a plus side. When you look at the satellite and radar, boy, it's a mess. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, just basically bumper cars all over the place, right? We have two different features really on the map that influence our weather today, but it does add for that very messy look where you got one shower moving one way, one that's moving in the other, one actually in Indiana, some of those moving due north. So it's going to be hard to time these out in any one given location. If you're thinking, okay, well, what about rain in Shelbyville at 3 o'clock today? What do you think? I have no idea. Because I don't know if one's going to be coming in from the west or from the north at that time of day, because it will be changing throughout the day. So your wind direction. So it's one of those things you just got to stay on it on the Wave Weather app and kind of look at the motion, make sure to loop it so you can see where its previous route was, and that'll help you get an idea where it's going next. But messy is what I'm trying to say. And with the satellite on here, it's hard to see even the rain, so let's get rid of that. And let's just focus on the rain only. And that's been mainly northern Kentucky and southern Indiana so far. Not much south of the parkways today. And nothing severe being noted, by the way. Just general showers. I've got 2 lightning strikes showing up here, but that's within anywhere you see on that map. I don't think I see them anywhere within our area. They may be far east of our region. Okay, let's zoom into Jefferson County. We got some showers here. Perfect example of the motion. You can see these showers look like they're heading towards Shelby County from the west, heading due east. And then you get this batch of showers back here into Breckenridge and Meade County, into Perry County, and they're heading northeast. So there's a lot of different motions here today, and that's why it's hard to say on timing, but you get the idea. Just kind of a messy setup. Now, what will change that will be a cold front. It's on its way, and here are the signs of it right there. See that thin little green line near Chicago into Cleveland. That is the cold front. As that continues to push to the south, it would take whatever this mess is here over Kentucky, and it'll go all the way down to at least I-40 and maybe all the way down to I-20 is where it should stop. Far enough away from us to keep that rain chance trapped down to the south before that front, our protector, if you will, that front will begin to wash out. And then once it weakens, then the same low pressure that's getting smushed down to the south will see an opportunity to come straight back up 65 and come back. Now, when will that happen? Depends which model you kind of look at, but the overall theme is it should be late Mother's Day night, more likely Monday of next week is when it should make its return back north. But we'll at least have the benefit of this front being just strong enough to give us a good 2 to 3 days of dry weather. So thank goodness, because as I've said several times, and it's worth saying because I'm trying to explain how lucky you guys are, if we did not have this front dropping in from Chicago, this low pressure here near St. Louis would still be here for the entire weekend. It would just have nowhere to go. So the front is the only thing moving on the weather map, really, as a shovel to help scoop us away. So that's the game plan in the short term is dealing with these showers. I think the front is going to be arriving. I would say it should cross, get my pen working, sorry. Should cross the Ohio River 964. I'm thinking right now 9 or 10 p.m. tonight, and should be in our southern counties by 5 a.m. and then Nashville around 8 a.m. Tomorrow. That's the time frame, the way it's looking now. So Indiana, obviously, you'll see the rain in the earliest, and that'll just shut down the rain machine as it goes all the way down. So this will be happening over the next 12 hours. Rain chances will begin to drop. Just a few spikes until that happens, because again, the front is still up here in Chicago, so this is still free reign for all these storms to run around and play, do whatever they want, ride the swings. They can do whatever they want. Okay, here's the severe risk today. It is a marginal risk, only just to account for the time it takes for the front to get here. So until it arrives, there's a chance that 1 or 2 could pulse up to near severe limits. And that's mainly for downburst winds, any cells that briefly collide together. You can get a strong burst of wind that could get up to 50 miles per hour. I don't know if you're going to get to 60 to trigger the warning. May get close. I think if anything, it will be hail that may trigger it more than all the other elements. And no, this is not a tornado setup because it is so sluggish. There is not a lot of wind here. The only wind that's being kicked up is really from the front, dropping in from the north, and that is not an overly strong front, for one, and two, it's coming in as a backdoor front, or an odd direction there from the north. So not exactly a front that's able to scoop up a ton of moisture. Say if it were more north-south in the plains, it would scoop up a tremendous amount of south air ahead of it and just aim right into Kentucky, creating a squall line type of setup. This front's coming in from the Great Lakes, so it doesn't have much of a shovel here to it to scoop up a lot of moisture, just what's already here. And that's the reason why we're not looking at a ton of severe. So why is the slight risk out then for southern Kentucky and Nashville to Chattanooga and Knoxville? That's mainly the low that's also trapped. You saw the spin on the radar. I think it's roughly southern Illinois is the way it's looking on the radar. It actually will try to row a little more to the south and southeast as it gets that push from the cold front. Well, that's the side you don't want to be on anything spinning, because at that point, especially the warming part of the day, you're going to get more of your fuel being added. And this is where you're going to get into not only some damaging winds, but very large hail potentially as you get into a much warmer climate. I mean, we got 60s here. It's running in the 80s down south. So a little more of a hail threat than anything. I'll show you the breakdown on this. Again, the slight risk, I think technically maybe Adair County, barely Adair County. Otherwise, most of us are in the marginal risk. Those in Indiana, not really much in a risk at all. Breaking it up more, the tornado potential, again, further south, a little closer to the eastern side of that spin of the low as it gets pushed down toward the Nashville and Jackson, Tennessee area. Your damage and wind potential is certainly there just because, again, the collision of boundaries. You got to account for that this time of the year. Something you need to get used to because that will be the theme all summer long is when thunderstorms collide, you get outflow boundaries, you get a burst of wind. For us, they tend to cause us more problems in the summer on those really hot days, and then you get a collapsing thunderstorm or an outflow. Boy, you can really get a lot of wind damage with that. We're not warm enough or hot enough right now for that to be a huge, huge factor. So relatively tame risk there. The hail is the one thing that stands out because it's hatched, and that indicates significant hail for areas of southeast Kentucky, Lake Cumberland area down into Tennessee. And that's just the idea of getting egg size hail, overall egg size to maybe tennis ball size, possible in some cases, but I mean large hail in general for areas outside of our area. Don't see the stones getting to that level here just because we're not as warm in that area. Okay, they won't be as tall either. The CSU, the Colorado State Learning Module. Let me show you that full screen. Hi. You don't want to see me. Okay, there we go. You see the risk breaking down tornado, hail, and wind. Notice which one is elevated. The hail one, top right. The wind threat is secondary, and I don't see anything on the tornado category there. So yeah, this is a hail and damage and wind maker, and mainly south and east. Now, as things evolve, notice as we get to the weekend, we don't have any worries on severe weather, even on Monday. But that same low pressure, remember, it gets pushed all the way down to the south, and you see that at the top right frame, where it's in the Gulf states. But then it tries to sneak north into parts of Kentucky as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. So maybe a low and severe risk. We'll watch that. But also notice the slides that are developing in the plains. That's a new low pressure that will be developing in eastern Texas. That will eventually play a role in our weather toward the end of next week, more likely that following weekend. Something we'll be tracking and talking a lot about as we get into next weekend. But in the short term, I don't think it's anything for us to worry about at all. We have some quiet weather coming our way. All right, before I get into Futurecast, kind of walk you through this. Any questions I can answer for you guys? Any at all? Good morning, Brian. Thanks for keeping us updated without the drama. You're welcome, Linda. I don't want to give you guys the drama. I never understood drama and weather, but then again, it's a different world. Let's see. X-sized hail, does that mean it's Elon Musk size? Gary, you've been waiting on that one for a long time, haven't you? Joel's over in Wilmington, North Carolina. Hello, Joel. Hope you're doing well. Good morning from Myrtle Beach there. All right. Hi, Sean. Everyone's on the beaches today. Is anyone in locally? Someone's got to be here locally, right? Somebody still has not abandoned us. You're still in our area. Hi, Susan. Hope all is well. Could we get more than just 2 nice days in a row? You know, you sound like my mom now on that because she's wanting to do the same thing as most gardeners are. You're needing time to get out there and get stuff done outside. And it's like, can we just get a stretch of nothing but 75 and 78s and sunny every day for like 5 days? That's all we're asking for. Just 5 days would be great. We'll even take 4. We'll settle for 4. We'll bargain. It's going to be tough. It is a pretty active weather pattern, but it's a ragged weather pattern. What I mean by that is that while there are storm chances in the extended, there are plenty of gaps even on those days that you may stay completely dry. It's just that I get it. You got a plan for dry, or you may need a project that has to be done in dry weather. There cannot be any risk at all of rain to ruin it. I totally understand that. But as far as anything outside that you can get around that rain risk, there will be some of you that will get skipped. So there's at least a glimmer there. All right, here's Futurecast showing you hour by hour how this is going to play out. First little band of rain moving on by. You see that does push a little burst of wind across central Kentucky. We'll monitor that around 3 to 4 o'clock. This is not the only model to show that. It eats the Cape away like Pac-Man. I mean, look at that. It's gone around Louisville, northern Kentucky there. Chop, chop, chop. So there is a chance there could be some gusty winds with that as it moves on by. Still got some showers and storms clustering ahead of the actual front, by the way. At this point, it's moving in toward Indianapolis at 4:30 this afternoon. And this is where your severe weather is likely to be ongoing. Southeast Kentucky into the mountains. Better lift there from the mountains too, or a graphic lift, helping to provide for some pretty tall thunderstorms there. Here we go at 10:30. The front is moving through southern Indiana along the Ohio River into around Louisville. The Cape is going away, not as much red showing up, so the fuel is already dwindling, and these are fuel-hungry things. So you take away the fuel, yeah, they don't have much to talk about. They continue to just fall apart. Midnight, fronts pass by Louisville, and then by tomorrow morning, the fronts in our southern counties. At the moment, I don't see a huge fog issue. I think the wind will be breezy enough coming in here from the north that we don't have to worry about that. But it will be a cooler morning for sure for your Friday. But it leads us into a beautiful looking setup on Friday itself with lots of sunshine. We may get stuck in the 60s for highs. It's all right. We'll handle that. It'll be a pretty day at least. Just a little breezy. We get into Saturday. Looking good there. We'll start off a little cool, but we'll increase the sunshine. Temperatures on Saturday have a chance to get well into the 70s perhaps. Notice the high clouds, though, that are building in from the south. You know what that is. That is our low-pressure friend that's around Evansville today. Coming back again. This has been the longest week and a half of upper lows. But this one in particular has been on the map since it started back in Texas before Derby Day. And it still is. It's literally, I said this as a joke. It's basically doing this. It's going on tour across country. And it's now visiting all the clubs down into the deep south, Louisiana. Well, it's coming back for another visit. This time, we're thinking it's going to be after Mother's Day. Now, Mother's Day may have to deal with high clouds. I don't see any low deck of clouds. So I think Mother's Day overall will be a pretty day. It just Saturday will be prettier in terms of sky condition. But still both will be really nice days. Again, after Mother's Day night, that low pressure will then begin to move in from the south. Depending on its attack angle here, where that spin is, because anywhere where you got the core of the spin, it's mainly going to be on those spiral bands on the eastern side of it. You got to watch for some severe weather potential on that. And that may push itself across the I-65 corridor and points east. If the low itself ends up tracking a little closer to, say, I-75, then that would keep most of these spiral bands or any severe potential on its eastern side, and we would just be on the showery side on the backside. So its path, once it leaves its party time down the Gulf, will highly determine if we have to worry about anything on the stronger side for storms early next week. Right now, that signal is low, but it's not zero. It moves out of here, and then we get into the middle of the week. We heat up rapidly for a preview of summer. Doesn't last very long. So remember, there's going to be that low forming somewhere in this area toward the end of next week and next weekend. And once that low forms, it will then get its act together and then move right into the Ohio Valley. And that may kick up a little bit more of a widespread severe threat, but that's several days away. All right, it's 10:03. Let's get right to the 10-day. I'll get to some of your questions, and I'll roll on out of here. Let's see. When are the cicadas going to emerge? Nikki, 64 degrees is the average temperature for them to come out of the ground. With these cooler nights we've had, it's been hovering around 64, and it drops back down to about 62, and it goes back up to 64. So there could be a few that have come alive, but I think you're going to need a much warmer pattern, especially overnight lows. These overnight lows in the 40s and 50s are not going to do it. Overnight lows in the 60s to near 70 would do it. So I suspect you'll hear more about cicadas emerging next week when we get those 80-degree days and those warmer overnight lows. That will be important. Hello, Albert. Slight rain there in Finchville. Thank you for the report. All right. Everyone seems good. Bass says, do not comply. All right. Do not comply. You need a hard drive update. Okay, that's it for now, guys. We'll be talking about the trends as we head into mid to late May and June. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go all the way through the summer. I'm not going to do that today, but that is my project that I'm working on. And I will let you guys know when that post will be coming out. But we'll be talking much more about the longer-term trends. Are we looking at a drought? Are we looking at an active hurricane season? How will that influence our weather? So stay tuned. Just like a winter forecast to do at Halloween, I will get this out. I'll let you know the date as soon as I have everything ready. All right, you all are awesome as always. I will see you guys coming up on midday at 11 a.m. Take care, everyone.